This property is currently being converted from a 3-bed terraced house to a 6-bed all-ensuite HMO with an annual income of £52,000. In this video, we're going to break down how we acquired this site, how we convert this house from a 3-bed to a 6-bed all-ensuite HMO, how long we expect to be in and out of the deal, a few tips and tricks we use to make our HMOs easier to manage, and what everyone wants to know, the purchase price, the build cost and the NGDV of this project, but you have to stick around to the end to find out. We sourced this property on the open market off Rightmove. It was listed for $275 and we noticed that it had been on there for a little while, so that gave us the opportunity to negotiate with the seller a new price of $225, which is 50 grand under list price. So obviously this house didn't look like this when we bought it. It was pretty much in a livable condition. There's 2 floors, ground floor and a first floor. You've got a living room at the front and a kitchen. So there's a conservatory at the back, which is pretty small and it doesn't serve a lot of purpose. Upstairs there was 3 bedrooms and obviously a bathroom. So what we plan on doing is downstairs at the front of the house, creating an ensuite room. There'll be a kitchen in the middle, and under permitted development, we are going to create a single-storey extension where there'll be 2 ensuite rooms. So upstairs, behind Ronnie, there's an ensuite room. There's another ensuite room here. So this will be the bedroom and the ensuite here. So there'll be stairs coming up here, and under permitted development, we'll be able to produce another bedroom with an ensuite. This will be quite a large room. So why do we go back to brickwork? Well, because we plan on holding these properties for a long period of time, we want to eradicate any issues that we may have in the future. So if our contractors have completed the new wiring and plumbing of the property, then this is handy for us, because if we have any issues in the future, they're able to locate them quite quickly rather than trying to guess what other contractors have done. Then that gives us the confidence that they have completed it to our standards, and to make sure that obviously it's fit for HMO purpose. How long do we expect to be in and out of this deal? Well, at Savoys we turn over about 30 projects a year, and a HMO project like this should take us about 6 months. So having a build team you can trust is probably one of the most important points in property development. A lot of stories I hear is fallouts between the landlord and the builders, or where the builders have walked off the job and then you've had to find new builders, and all that just takes up time and money. If you look back at my video with Meg, we went to see her HMO project down in Kent, and the same thing happened to her. She was out of pocket and it extended the project by 3-4 months until she found another builder. How do we make our HMOs easier to manage? Well, the first point being, we've changed, a few years ago actually, we changed from keys to a punch lock system. So obviously back in the day we had keys. What would happen, tenants would lose them, we'd have to call a locksmith out or come out ourselves to give them a fresh set of keys. It was just wasting time and money. So a few years ago we installed these punch locks into each room, which is just a code, and we refresh the code every time a new tenant comes in to help keep the property safe. This reduces a lot of time and cost to us. Another thing we do is we put individual fuse boxes in each room. So if something trips in one room, it's isolated to that room only, and the tenant can easily see, they can open up the fuse box and they can see what's tripped and just switch the switch back up. This minimises the disturbance to the whole house, because you can imagine if you're sharing a house and the power goes in the whole house because someone's plugged something in, it's a bit inconvenient. The next point is we use something called LVT flooring, which is a type of vinyl flooring, and we much prefer to use this over carpet for obvious reasons, as one, it's easier to keep clean and maintain, and also, as you can imagine, there's a high turnover of tenants in these properties, and it's not their property, so they're not going to be taking their shoes off at the door. So areas that get high traffic, such as the stairs, will wear down quite quickly with carpet, whereas with this vinyl flooring, we're able to maintain it and look after it over a long period of time, and it reduces the upkeep of it. And the final point is we always have built-in wardrobes in the room. This stops tenants rearranging their rooms, scuffing the walls, the skirting boards, and potentially damaging the furniture. Built-in wardrobes maximise the space better than freestanding wardrobes, so that's why we choose to use built-in. So similar to the LVT flooring, we like to have built-in wardrobes because it basically reduces the maintenance of the property. We've got these long-term, we don't want to have to keep spending money on new carpets, new furniture. We want to maximise the lifespan of it. What everyone's been waiting for, the purchase price, like I said earlier, of this property was $225. The build cost, including all the legals and everything else, is 200 grand, and we've had a GDV of this property for 550. That gives us a total profit of £125,000 plus an annual income of over £52,000 a year. So if you've made it this far, it would be really nice if you could hit that subscribe button and follow us, as we'll be releasing more property content like this to help elevate your property journey. So as a thank you for watching this far, we've got a free HMO ebook linked in the description below.